From the VON Newsline, this is the VON Major Newscast.
Good evening, I am Tammy Reed in with your VON Major News package for today, Friday, 7 September 2018. In our lead stories nationally, government moves to end antiquated concept of debtor's prison, and the 58-year-old man, the Federation's 21st homicide victim. Regionally, government in Jamaica moves to end duty-free importation of white sugar. Internationally, Brazil's presidential front runner stabbed at rally. And in sports, West Indies women to face South Africa women in the Sandals International Series. We'll have the details to these and other stories after this message.
Another look.
Different from how you've seen it before.
Another look.
Takes an in-depth look into business, politics, science, technology, religion, and more.
Another look.
Featuring documentaries from the BBC, regional features, and local ones too.
Another look.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Eastern Caribbean's Powerhouse.
Wow.
Welcome back, and now the national news in detail. Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris, pledged during a sitting of the National Assembly yesterday, September 6, that his government will bring an end to the outdated concept of debtor's prison, which the Prime Minister described as the criminalization of poverty. Debtor's prison refers to the imprisonment of individuals for their failure to pay a debt. Prime Minister Harris was quoted as saying, "My government is of the view that that system has to be reviewed. At our last meeting of the Cabinet, we invited the Attorney General to get his legal department to look at the matter of debtor's jail with a view of bringing an end to it or some of the most punitive aspects of it, because in the application of that outdated concept of debtor's jail, we end up criminalizing poverty." Prime Minister Harris further stressed that the concept of debtor's prison, which found its way to the Caribbean region through colonization, had been proven to be out of date and faulty. While wrapping up the debate on the Credit Reporting Bill 2018 in Parliament, Dr. Harris noted that several Caribbean jurisdictions, including Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados and the Bahamas, have since implemented Debtors Act that essentially prevent an individual from being incarcerated for failing to pay a debt. Gun crimes continue unabated here in St. Kitts and Nevis, with the latest incident recorded in St. Kitts on Thursday evening, September 6. Police received a report of a shooting incident at about 10:40 p.m. and responded. According to press release from the police, preliminary investigations have revealed that 50-year-old Edward Ryan of Fines Avenue was sitting in his car in the area of Charles Halbert Street when two armed men approached him. They opened fire and he was shot several times about the body. He succumbed to his injuries at the scene. This is the 21st homicide so far for the year and comes just 11 days after the murder of 32-year-old Mikhail Mitch Liebert, who was the son of Minister of Public Infrastructure, the Honorable Ian Patches Liebert. As investigations into the matter are ongoing, police are urging anyone with information to call 467-1887. In an address to mark the observance of Caribbean Wellness Day, CWD, which is being celebrated on Saturday, 8th September, Junior Minister in the Ministry of Health here on Nevis, the Honorable Hazel Brandy Williams, is encouraging citizens and residents to adopt a more healthy lifestyle. In her address, Minister Brandy Williams noted that in Nevis, NCDs pose a significant challenge to our health system as they account for 75% of the overall visits of our facilities and 40% of the hospital administrations. She added that NCDs contribute significantly to the overall burden of morbidity and 83% of the overall mortality in the Federation. She emphasized that we pay special attention to our workforce, which is the engine that drives the economy and provides the financial support for families, communities, and even our healthcare system. The minister pledged her ministry's support towards a new preventive-based and health-promotive-based paradigm as they encourage businesses to introduce and promote workplace health promotion programs as an initiative geared towards improving the health and well-being of their workers. Caribbean Wellness Day is observed annually on the second Saturday in September and is an annual event which aims to increase awareness and promoting healthy living. In keeping with the regional theme, Nevis has adopted the local theme, maintaining a healthy workforce through movement and diet, and a local slogan, SKN on the move. As part of the observance of Caribbean Wellness Week, Fit Wellness Center has partnered with the Ministries of Health on St. Kitts and Nevis, Von Radio, and other organizations here in St. Kitts and Nevis to raise awareness of non-communicable diseases, NCDs, in the Federation. One of the activities that have been organized is a Fit Games Fittest of the Fit competition, slated to take place on Saturday, 8 September at the Fit Park at Bath Plains, beginning at 4 p.m. This is the first time the competition will be held on the scale that it is. Founder and manager of the Fit Wellness Center, Mr. David Walwin, in speaking to the VON Newsline, explained the 3 levels the event will entail.
There is the beginners, there's the intermediate, and there's the advanced. And so if you sign up as a beginner, a lot of the challenges will be relay. So basically, if you have a team of 4, each person will only do 2 obstacles. And so don't feel that because the course seems challenging and you may not be fit, don't let that discourage you. We have organized in the way where everybody can have fun and participate.
Founder and manager of the Fit Wellness Center, Mr. David Walwin. The teams that will be participating are from Nevis, St. Kitts, St. Thomas, Anguilla, and St. Croix. In related news, in its continued efforts to raise awareness of NCDs here in St. Kitts and Nevis, the Fit Wellness Center here on Nevis will be hosting a Mr. Physique competition. The event is slated for Sunday, 9th September at the Fit Park at Bath Plains and is expected to begin at 7 p.m. The event will see 8 competitors competing for the title. These competitors hail from St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Thomas, Anguilla, USA, and Cuba. The men will compete in 3 judged segments.
There is the introductory segment where all the guys will come out, they'll introduce themselves, say a little bit about who they are, where they're from. They will go off stage, we'll have an individual segment, and so they'll come out individually, half naked, and just what they call board shorts, and so they're a little longer than your regular swim shorts. And then they will all go back, and then they will come back out again one more time for a comparison round. And so that ideally is where all the competitors are on a stage, and the judges will look them all over and do a comparison.
Founder and manager of the Fit Wellness Center, Mr. David Walwin. This is the 2nd annual Mr. Physique competition. The government of St. Kitts and Nevis has endorsed the new Chief Executive Officer, CEO, of the St. Kitts and Nevis Cable Communications Limited, the Cable, Patricia Walters, who assumed the position on Wednesday, September 5th, during a brief ceremony. Attorney General and Minister of Communications, the Honorable Vincent Byron, during the sitting of Parliament on Thursday, September 6, stated, and I quote, "Patricia Walters is a highly accomplished business transformation leader with over 25 years of international experience. She is a citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis, born and educated in the United Kingdom with an honors business degree before moving on to London to study and qualify as an associate and then fellow of the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, ACCA," end of quote. Ms. Walters replaces Bill E. Wing, who retired after 35 years of service to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. Minister Byron said that Ms. Walters is deeply committed to helping others professionally by mentoring, training, and frequently speaking at international empowerment forums for young professionals and women in ICT conventions. The government of St. Kitts and Nevis is the majority stakeholder in St. Kitts and Nevis Cable Communications Limited, the cable. Finally, in police news, Calvin Hicks of St. Johnson Village, St. Kitts, was arrested, formally charged and cautioned for the offense of larceny, which was committed on August 24, 2018. Aldane Daniel of Abbott Street, West Farm, St. Kitts, was arrested, formally charged and cautioned for the offenses of driving without a valid and unexpired driver's license and driving without insurance. Bail was granted in the sum of $5,000 for his appearance at the Bastia Magistrate Court today, September 7, 2018. Cleroy Matthew of Bouncing Hill, Sandy Point, who was charged for the offense of possession of cannabis, was granted bail in the sum of $5,000 for his appearance at the Deep Bay Magistrate Court on October 1, 2018. Police executed several search warrants on properties in the following areas on St. Kitts: Phillips's Village, Democrat Street, Upper Keyon, and Nisbet Settlement. These reports were recorded by the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force for the period August 29th to September 3rd, 2018. That's our national news segment. You can visit our website at www.vonradio.com, or you can check us out on our social media page on Facebook at Von Radio and our Von Radio YouTube channel. News from across the region is next.
This summer, the Bank of Nevis Limited offers you sizzling hot vacation loans. Come and experience summer like never before with our easy-to-access summer vacation loan. Get up to $15,000 unsecured with up to 2 years to repay. Take a trip, experience the world, or participate in our very own Culturama. Enjoying your vacation has never been easier with a relaxing vacation loan from the Bank of Nevis Limited. My bank, your bank, our bank, the Bank of Nevis Limited, improving the quality of life. Like us on Facebook.
Welcome back, and now the regional news in detail. In Jamaica, manufacturers who import white sugar into Jamaica will now be required to pay the duty upfront and be reimbursed by the government within 30 days. Minister of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries, Audley Shaw, said this change was necessary as the government seeks to control the illegal importation of the product. On Tuesday, he stated, "That is the way to begin to rescue this industry." He pointed out that at the last check, more than 30,000 tons of locally produced sugar is sitting around in warehouses. Shaw pointed out that imported white sugar is increasingly finding its way into the local market, not by way of the manufacturing process, but directly finding its way onto the supermarket shelves and the corner shop shelves of this country. The minister said that this activity, which he stressed is unacceptable, is leading to a backup of locally produced sugar that cannot be sold. For years, manufacturers have been benefiting from the duty-free entry of sugar into the country for the manufacturing process. Out of Trinidad, High Court Judge Kevin Ramcharan appeared in a magistrate court on Tuesday, September 4th, accused of driving under the influence of alcohol 3 months ago. He pleaded not guilty to the charge and was ordered to return on October 18th for a case management hearing. Tuesday was the third court appearance for Ramcharan, but the first time he was asked to enter a plea because of the absence of his lawyer and an error on the charge sheet on the two previous occasions he attended court. On May 26, around 11 p.m., Ramcharan was driving his sport utility vehicle when he was involved in an accident. When police went to the scene, administered a breathalyzer test, the judge allegedly had a reading of 55 micrograms of alcohol per 100 milliliters of breath, well above the legal limit of 35 micrograms of alcohol for every 100 milliliters of breath. Out of St. Lucia, Custom and Excise officers have begun a two-day sick-out in protest over government's plan to merge a number of government departments into the proposed St. Lucia Border Management Authority, which began yesterday. A sick-out is an organized period of unnecessary sick leave taken as a form of group protest. Customs officers fear that a number of them will lose their jobs if the statutory body is established. Prime Minister Alan Chastney said at a press briefing last month, "Any solution that requires people to be sent home is not something my government will consider." He was referring to allegations suggesting that officers employed with the Customs and Excise Department would be asked to resign and reapply for positions in the new entity called the St. Lucia Border Management Authority. These allegations seem to have frightened officers to the point where they sought advice from their bargaining agent, the Civil Service Association, CSA, which met them recently to hear their grievances. Customs would be upgraded, not downgraded. We don't see anybody being sent home, Chastney reiterated. Despite his assurances, the CSA does not trust his words. Finally, a $1.5 million debt in Barbadian currency to telecommunications giant Cable and Wireless has left Barbados' newest mobile provider, Ozone Wireless, unable to provide service to hundreds of customers. The one-year-old company confirmed in a statement on Tuesday that Cable and Wireless, which operates in Barbados as Flow, had disconnected all local services to Ozone, resulting in a reduction in service to users in certain areas. However, about 60% of the Ozone network, representing 1,350 customers, remains connected on the backup offered by the other big telecoms company, Digicel. Ozone is working around the clock with potential investors and the Fair Trading Commission to address this challenge, Ozone said. Chief Executive Officer Dr. Nicholas Kelly acknowledged his company's debt, telling local media that Cable and Wireless had previously threatened to pull the plug unless his company paid half. Director General of the Barbados Consumers Research Organization Incorporated, Malcolm Gibbs stated that Cable and Wireless decision may have been a power play to drive out the competition. That's it for our regional stories. Stay with us for news around the world. Welcome back, and now the international news in detail. The front-runner in Brazil's presidential election, Jair Bolsonaro, has been stabbed at a campaign rally. The far-right politician was attacked in a crowd in the southeast state of Minas Gerais. A suspect was arrested. Mr. Bolsonaro had surgery for injuries to his intestines and is expected to recover, hospital officials said. The controversial politician, who has outraged many in Brazil with racist and homophobic comments, has performed strongly in recent opinion polls. Here is one of his doctors giving an update.
He is already awake, he is breathing, and we are now taking the necessary precautionary measures to prevent any infection or new bleeding. It's the usual post-operative care after a serious trauma like the one he has suffered. It's not certain how long he will be in hospital for.
Rescuers continue to search for survivors of a powerful earthquake on Japan's island of Hokkaido as the death toll rose to 16. Dozens are still missing, with many feared buried under rubble after the magnitude 6.7 quake triggered landslides. Some 1.6 million residents across Hokkaido remain without power. The quake is the second disaster to hit Japan this week after a deadly typhoon lashed the country's west coast. The earthquake struck early on Thursday and thousands of people spent the night in evacuation centers. Teenagers who smoke and drink alcohol are causing visible damage to their arteries by the age of 17, a study has revealed. Tests show stiffening of the arteries had begun by this relatively young age. These physical changes have been linked with an increased risk of heart and blood vessel problems, such as stroke and heart attack in later life. However, the study also found that the arteries of teenagers who stop smoking or drinking return to normal. The researchers studied data between 2004 and 2008 from 1,266 youngsters taking part in the Avon longitudinal study of parents and children, which charts the health of 14,500 families in the Bristol area. Finally, cybersecurity and British authorities in Britain are investigating and putting together pieces of a puzzle regarding how hackers were able to get information from over 400,000 bank cards. We have more in this report.
British Airways has admitted that data from 380,000 card payments made via its website and app was stolen between the 21st of August and the 5th of September. It included names, addresses and credit card details with expiry dates and 3-digit security numbers. The company won't say whether or not the stolen data was encrypted due to the ongoing police investigation. It's also refused to explain how the attackers got hold of the security numbers, which are not meant to be retained.
That brings us to the end of our news segments. The latest in sports is next.
Season at TDC, and you have VIP access to TDC Home and Building Depot's Furniture Fest. Get 25% off all furniture cash or hire purchase and save even more on our Furniture Fest cash specials. After all that fetting, come home and relax in affordable quality, comfort, and style. Pay your way and save big on your living room, dining room, or bedroom set in TDC Home and Building Depot's Furniture Fest. See stores for details. Terms and conditions apply.
If you come to Fest, I come to Fest, she come to Fest, we come to Fest.
Welcome back. Another sports in detail. In cricket, Windies women will have a chance to test how ready they are towards their World T20 title defense when they face South Africa in 3 ODIs and 5 T20Is from September 16th to October 6th in Barbados and Trinidad. Stephanie Taylor captains the 15-member squad to face the 6th-ranked South Africans, who will also be in the same group in the ICC WWT20 in November. The selection panel has selected 13 players for the 3 ODIs, with 2 additional players joining the squad for the 5 T20 International. The full squad of players is as follows: Stephanie Taylor captain, Marissa Aguilera, Shemaine Campbell, Shamilia Connell, Deandra Dottin, Afi Fletcher, Kiana Joseph, Keisia Knight, Haley Matthews, Natasha McLean, Shideen Nation, Shakira Selman, Anissa Mohammed, Shinetta Grimon, and Charisma Ramharak. In more cricket news, the Nevis cricket selectors have come up with a strong team which will represent the island in a pre-independence 20 and under cricket match to be played against their counterparts from St. Kitts on the evening of Saturday 8th September. The match will be played at Warner Park and is set to commence at 6 p.m. The Nevis team, Ross Powell captain, Jamie Cornelius, Giovanni Tyson, Shelton Forbes, Keon Pemberton, Marcus Dewberry, Siobhan Jeffers, Jelani Manners, Justin Amudan, Jaden Carmichael, Bugnarine Sharma, Trishon France, Malik Wallace, Carlon Bowen Stockett, and Tiwan Prentice. A team meeting with the players is scheduled for the E.T. Willett Park today, Friday, 7th September at 4 p.m. In football, world champions France were held to a goalless draw by Germany in League A of UEFA's Nations League. Playing their first game since beating Croatia to win the World Cup, France forward Antoine Griezmann forced Manuel Neuer into a smart save. The match improved after a poor first half, with Marco Rios and Matthias Gitter both denied by France goalkeeper Alphonse Areola on his debut. France hosts Netherlands in the second group game on Sunday at 7:45 p.m. BST. Finally, in tennis, Serena Williams has another shot at winning her first Grand Slam title since giving birth after defeating Anastasia Sevastova in 66 minutes in the U.S. Open semi-final. Williams, beaten by Angelique Kerber in Wimbledon final in July, won 6-3, 6-0 against Latvian 19th seed Sevastova. The 36-year-old American will play Japan's Naomi Osaka in Saturday's final after the 20th seed beat Madison Keys. Victory will equal Margaret Court's record of 24 Grand Slam single titles. Meantime, Naomi Osaka has become the first Japanese woman to reach a Grand Slam final after beating American Madison Keys to set up a meeting with Serena Williams at the U.S. Open. Osaka, 20, had never beaten Keys in their previous 3 meetings, but won 6-2, 6-4 in New York. The 20th seed saw off 13 break points and clinically took those which came her way. She meets 23-time Grand Slam champion Williams at 9 p.m. BST on Saturday. That's it for the sports segment. The general weather forecast is next. Welcome back, and now the local weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. A high-pressure system is the dominant feature over the area and will keep the atmosphere relatively dry and stable for the forecast period. Additionally, a light to gentle wind flow resulting from a slack pressure gradient will also persist across the area. Weather tonight, mostly fair skies. Weather tomorrow, partly sunny skies with a 30% or a low chance of afternoon showers developing due to daytime heating effects. Winds easterly with speeds ranging between 7 to 19 kilometers per hour or 4 to 10 knots, and could also become calm and variable at times. Seas slight to moderate with significant wave heights not exceeding 1.5 meters or 5 feet. Sunrise tomorrow is at 5:58 a.m. And that's how we wrap up the major news package for today, Friday, 7th September 2018. Before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nationally, government moves to end antiquated concept of debtor's prison, and 58-year-old man, the Federation's 21st homicide victim. Regionally, government in Jamaica moves to end duty-free importation of white sugar. Internationally, Brazil's presidential front-runner stabbed at rally. And in sports, West Indies women to face South Africa women in the Sandals International Series. On behalf of the rest of the news team, I am Tammy Reed, wishing you a safe and enjoyable weekend.